Hello and welcome to the Gale Hill Radio Hour. I'm your host, Kate Jones, having a conversation with Cameron Cabot, an arts educator and advocate for the power of arts and culture to shape a better world. Cameron, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. I love what you say about art and culture having the power to shape a better world. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think that if anything has the power to shape a better world, it is our arts and culture. I mean, at the core of who we are as humans, there is art at the core of who we've always been, of who we are and of where we're going. I think that in a lot of ways, it is only through our arts that we come to understand our culture, and to understand our history and to understand our future and to dream. The arts at their core are, a lot of things, but I suppose some words that come to mind are recollection and memory and collaboration, community,
Yes.
and and with those things, centered and core, then I think that the possibilities of what our world can be and who we can be and the potential of the human spirit, I think is limitless. And I
Yes.
think and I think that through real art that comes from the soul, that comes from connection. I think that we then are gifted the ability to dream
Yes.
and to dream toward a future of hope and a future of togetherness. And so I I'm a little biased because art is what I do and art is who I am, and creation is central to how I view the world. But I think that everybody has the ability to tap into the creative and to kind of this unifying spirit of progress. And the arts show that in a lot of beautiful reflections and ways.
Well, you talk about connection, and actually, we do have that in common. We are all creative in some way, and it may not be in a way that we think is creative, but we're creating as we go. We're
Absolutely.
creating our lives. We're creating, our surroundings. We're creating our opportunities, and when you talk about all the different things that the arts inspire, I would also add awe to that. That
Yes,
feeling
absolutely.
of awe that you can get from a resounding song or like a magnificent
Yeah,
performance, and we have that in common as well.
absolutely. Awe. I mean, there aren't many, phenomena or things or experiences that can create, like you said, that awe, that, oh my gosh, I am feeling something that words alone cannot describe. And yeah, I mean, we do have that in common, and we are all creating, out of all of the choices that we could make as people, as dreamers, as humans, we choose for reasons. And the arts are also an exercise in choice.
Yeah, that's interesting. What do you mean by that?
I mean that, I could, when I go to, I mean, even as something as simple as what clothes we choose to wear, in the morning we're groggy before we've had our coffee and we stumble over to our closet, and there is, as long as laundry has been done, there are
There are
options,
choices, we
there are
hope.
choices. And so, something as simple as that,
Okay.
what am I going to choose to wear today and why? And do I necessarily know why? What if I'm in an art museum and I'm strolling around, what grabs my eye? What causes that sensation of awe, that sensation of connecting me to the artist, connecting me to the human experience?
Yeah,
It's
that's
I
great.
think it's all a choice.
Yes. So why did you first get involved in the arts, and how long ago was that anyway?
Well, for as long as I can remember, I've always been humming a tune, or when I was little, my 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 grandmother would throw me up on every stage that there was. If we were at a clam bake or at a St. Patrick's Day event, or wherever we were as a family, I was always the entertainer. So I don't know exactly how that began, but I've always been encouraged and supported in my being an an artist, an entertainer. I've always been the one in the family who's the jester. And in a classroom, I was always the one cracking the joke or trying to make other people smile. And I've been singing and and just being playful. I suppose it all starts with play. I was never I was never told that I couldn't. I was never told that I couldn't imagine. I was never told that I couldn't uh, sing or entertain or be a character or be different. And I guess that stuck,
That's
and
marvelous.
yeah. So I
Wow.
suppose that's where it started. It starts, I think, with the environment around us. And I mean, my environment had its challenges just like everyone, but I've always, I've always just been told that I'm, I'm an artist. I'm an entertainer. I make people laugh. And so I guess I took that to heart, and here I am still trying to do that every day.
Yes. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. A gift, truly.
Oh, well, thank you.
So, over the years, what would you say that you've learned and how have you grown?
Ah, that's a great question because, it's actually kind of paramount, I think, to, to being a creative, or to being a thinker, a dreamer, to being someone who is open to possibility, which, I think any real artist has to be, or else you're just a practitioner. If you, and so I think that's actually kind of paramount to how I view my life and my creative practices and my arts advocacy. And I think that's also why I was then drawn to arts education. And it's because I really do believe in the power of lifelong learning, and that there is always so much to learn from others and from their stories and from their experiences and from, just connecting with the other and forming community. And that gets back to your original question, in what does it mean to you that arts have the power to shape a better world? And it's really because they allow us to connect to others and connect and find a commonality, find common
Yes.
ground. And so I'm always growing, I'm always learning. If when confronted with a new possibility, or something that's different, or something that's an option, or like I was saying, choices. We're all confronted with a lot of choices, and I think to not be a lifelong learner would be to limit those choices, would be to limit those possibilities.
Yes.
And
And limit understanding too.
yeah, and understanding of the self, understanding of the other, and understanding of, I guess, what it means to be human. I'm
Yes.
getting very philosophical.
This is great. I love these insights. And that is what art is all about. That is what, and life is all about too, is understanding and learning and growing and serving, all kinds of
Well, and
things.
serving, and and what a great word that you just used. And I think that's art. Art, it's not just for the self. I think it comes from one's unique perspective, but one's unique perspective is shaped by the environment and people and stories around them. And I think anybody who's really tapping into what it means to create or to make is doing it with some sort of service in mind, service toward and getting back to this original question, service toward a better tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, these are wonderful insights, Cameron.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
so
of
much for
course.
sharing them.
Well, I could talk. I could talk about. I could talk about the arts all day. I mean, I truly believe. I truly believe that 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 they're just so intrinsic to what it means to be human. And you said something before about, you know, life is about learning and serving and growing and all those beautiful words. And I always say to my students, because I teach classes in theater and in choir, and I also teach classes in business. Um, but I say these lessons are not just applicable on the stage or at the microphone or in the boardroom. These lessons are applicable to life, and not that everything we do is putting on a show, because we shouldn't always have that responsibility or that onus, I suppose, to like always feel like we're in a performance. But in some way, life itself is a menu of options that we get to curate,
Ah, yes.
in my opinion.
That's very good. Well,
Yeah.
on that really lovely note, um, I think we'll leave it at, with that. And I just want to thank you again. This has been terrific.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate you having me.
So this is Kate Jones with the Gale Hill Radio Hour. Until next time, thanks for joining us.